Hello folks, today I'm going to be taking a look at a range of miniatures from North Star for Frostgrave by Osprey Games. This time round I've got a triumvirate of constructs. So we've got the Coleman and the Ballista 2 construct. These are both multi-part metal. And then there's also a Collegium Porter, so something a bit wizarding. And this is actually multi-part resin. Okay, so starting off with the Ballista, as you can see, metal model, simply 2 parts with what looks like a drum mag for that Ballista. Just a simple 1 arm on. Casting has a little bit of flashing. And minimal seam lines, so it shouldn't take long to tidy that up and get him put together. The coal monster is a lot more parts. Where are we? Well, 4, so 3 more parts. We have a head that sits on the shoulders at a jaunty angle, and then a couple of arms to pop on. Again, very nice cast, especially with all the angles on this. There's little bits of flashing, but considering how many undercuts and parts there were to it, flashing is minimal and seam lines are also minimal. And on the extremities, pretty much the same. Some slight flashing on the end of fingertips towards there where the joins are. And the Collegium Porter now, this is interesting. And presumably it's because of these very delicate limbs that they've chose to go with resin. So I think this is the first resin from North Star I've looked at. Excellent detail. Very good cast. Little air bubble at the corner, the rear, but nothing particularly out of place. Very crisp on the shelf, and a little knocked over bottle. And these very delicate spindly fingers, again nicely cast. A little bit of a clean up to do at the actual tips, and the sprue gates obviously have to be removed. But let's get these all cleaned up and assembled. Okay, so I'm back and they're built. We'll start off with our Ballista once more. Now these are early production casts, so they're not released yet when I'm filming this. So there's a couple of things. First off, see the big divot out of that? I was very lucky. I just came shy of losing a foot, I realised. But overall, a big chunky piece of metal. It is 45mm from base to top, and assuming that's where its eyes live, it's 30mm to eye level, in the middle of that big brass screaming lion head. Main body is spot on, lots of little cogs and gear wheels and teeth everywhere. Little bit of mold line on the Ballista more than on the body itself. That'll need to be cleaned up, especially across the front of the arms of the Ballista. But a really nice construct. Moving on to the Coalman. He is, again, a chunky piece of work, about 40mm tall and about 35 to eye level if those pits are indeed its eyes. Like I say, a fairly nice cast, minimal mold lines, a little bit of flashing that'll need to be cleaned up here and there, but a real jumble of rocks, all angles. Will do the job as an elemental beautifully. The last of our three, my Collegium Porter. Slight issue. My slight issue is I got a mispack and got two of the same arm. Although I can live with that because he looks like he's jauntily swinging his arms back and forth as he walks forward. If we had the time, I'd reach out to Nick and they'd get us a replacement, but as we don't, we'll just have a look as is. From its tippy toes to the top of its little cranial type balustrade, 42mm, and it's roughly 15mm wide. It's a very crisp cast in resin, minimal mold lines and seam lines. There was a bit of a seam here. When I cleared that up, I got a second bubble, but bubbles and resin go hand in hand. You'll rarely, if ever, not get any bubbles. So as it is, having a walking chest of drawers or writing desk is a lovely look in and of itself. Would need to clean the fingertips up, but I thought just to show you how he looks, it would do the job. So there we have the Coalman, the Porter, and the Ballista. Three very interesting adversaries for Frostgrave. So there we have it, a great set of miniatures which work perfectly as constructs for any of the Frostgrave games, but in particular very good for the upcoming Fireheart expansion. Nice blend of metal and resin where they've swapped the material to match what they're trying to build, essentially. So I really like the little resin grimoire on legs. Shame I've got two of the same arm, but you can't have everything. It's what happens when I get an early version out to review. But let me know what you think below. Definitely ones to take a look at and handy to have for all your Frostgrave games.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.